Hello, everyone. I am back today. Today, I have the Rachel Mark with me, and I'm so excited for everybody to hear from you, Rach, hear what you're up to, how people can work with you, your experience inside of Platinum this past year. And I just want to share that I feel really grateful that you're here with me this morning, and I love your perspective on things. I love your knowledge. I love the way you view your client experience. I love the way you and your business partner implement strategies to grow your business. Like, I think there's something to be said for people who say they want a business, but then don't actually take the action. And then people who say they want a business and they go above and beyond to make that happen. And I really see that in you. So I just want to share that before we get started.
Thank you.
And rather than me describing what your work is, why don't you start off by telling everybody where you're located and what is your business and what are all of the offers, courses, different things that you provide. We'll leave where people can find it till the end because I'll make sure that those all get linked into the show notes. But to start off with, what is Radiant Effect? What do you do? Why do you do it? What's your favorite part of your work?
Just start out with a bang, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go right into it on this Tuesday morning.
So I'm one half of Radiant Effect, and we are a whole person approach to healthcare. So my background is as an acupuncturist and an exercise physiologist and kinesiologist, yoga teacher. And my business partner is an embodied movement educator. So the two of us come together to really look at your experience in health as a whole person, looking at root cause medicine and how we can support not only education and behavioral change, but also understanding how we can take what we're learning and then move it into our body. So that's the embodiment piece of Radiant Effect. So we are physically based in Victoria. We each have our own private practices where you can come and see me for acupuncture or see Meg for one-on-one movement therapy. But the bulk of our business is online. So Radiant Effect lives in the space where everyone has availability to it. And we have different offerings within it. So what we really believe is important is meeting people where they're at in their health journey. And so with that, we have one-on-one coaching and support that's available through our membership programs. That includes a huge range of movement videos in our library, as well as community and one-on-one support. It also includes our signature course, Recalibrate, which really is, I would say, the heart and the foundation of Radiant Effect. And that is a 6-week nervous system restoration course. So when we look at whole person health and we look at really optimizing what we would call the Radiant Effect in ourselves, it is looking at that root cause, and it almost always boils down to some level of dysregulation within the nervous system. And so particularly what we're seeing, really everywhere, but specifically across the pandemic, has been huge increases in stress levels, anxiety levels, feelings of overwhelm and burnout. And so that is dysregulation within the nervous system. And so what we aim to do in that course is to teach you about your nervous system so you understand what it is, why it's doing what it's doing, why all these sort of random symptoms might be popping up in your body and your day-to-day experience. And then teach you the tools that you can use through embodiment practices. So taking sort of what we learn and can put in up here and then moving it down because
actually feeling it.
Exactly. Like if we only know it up here, and we don't know how to apply it or how to access it when it's needed, it's not really much use, right?
Yeah.
So that's what this course is about, and about really supporting people in a similar situation through a community setting and through group calls, as well as individualized coaching and self-paced learning online.
A breadth of ways that people can work with you, experience your world, be in community with you. And I have to say too, like what you and Meg bring separately and then combine it together, it really does create that whole person, that holistic health. And yeah, I just see it like in so many individuals that I know personally that have went through Radiant Effect, and reading their testimonials and hearing their experiences and seeing it in the way they function in the day-to-day world. It's like this work is needed and this work is life-changing. And like you just said, coming out of something like the pandemic, this is the time. And to not be afraid or shy to say like, yeah, I am maybe for the first time in my life experiencing burnout or like confusion or exhaustion or all of the things, anxiety, depression, and to know that there's other people out there feeling that way, and that you two really take everybody under your wing or loop arms with them and say, okay, let's do this, let's heal together. So I think the work that you're doing is incredible. Okay, what I would love to hear from your perspective is when you think back to a year ago or like 10 months ago-ish, a year ago, signing up to Platinum 2022, what were you hoping would happen for your business in the past year?
Yeah, so Radiant Effect is a fairly new business. Meg and I had both been operating our own businesses individually, and towards the end of 2021 was the decision of us to really come together as one. And so what our hope in signing up for Platinum 2022 was really to solidify that business that we were growing together. So, when we have sort of two independent things, we bring them together. In some ways, it's like starting from scratch. There's a lot of knowledge and wisdom that's already there, but it's also like, oh, now I work with someone, and how do we navigate the growth in that new world, on that new path? So our hope in signing up was really about, solidifying our business. And I would say, while growth was obviously a big goal for us, a big part of it was having the tools and the guidance to lay a solid foundation. Because, I mean, we hear it from you and Kayla all the time, and we see it, and we've experienced it in our own certain situations where it's like, if the foundation is shaky, you can't build from it. And
absolutely,
because we both had our own businesses, we were like, we want to come, we want to go, we want to grow. And then when we actually stepped back, we were like, no, we need the support to build that foundation. And so that was really the goal in signing up, was to be able to be in a container with other people in similar situations who were wanting to lay that foundation for big growth in the future, and have the systems and the tools and the support to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I see with ourselves and with you too, and with other businesses that are growing at a good pace, is that we can grow really fast. And then there's always opportunity to say, okay, now we have to come back down to the base, widen, go back up again, right? Like if we go too fast, too high, we topple over. And so it is a great opportunity to say, yeah, we are doing this growth thing and we want to expand, and then we're going to grow again, and then we want to expand. And I really see that in what you two are doing and coming together in your collaboration. Now, when you reflect on the past year, what for you has felt the most transformational, whether it's a personal transformation or a part of your business transformation, but what would you identify that as?
I think one of the biggest changes for me personally, and it feeds into business and how I show up in business, was to pretty much do exactly what we teach in Recalibrate, which is expand the capacity, but do it in a different way. So my history and what brought me, really to the work that I do and teach now is that I experienced burnout for many years. Like, I'm someone who will work really, really hard, give me the job, I will say yes, I will get it done. And to my
at what cost?
Yeah, exactly, to my own detriment. And so what I have found really in this year, which was my first full 12 months, full year as a full-time entrepreneur, was that I had to learn to pace myself. I had to learn to prioritize, to set boundaries, really to look at what will serve me, like what do I have to do for myself to be able to show up fully for everyone else. And I think that was the biggest thing. And with that, and how that tied into having a business partner, and also tying into being in the platinum community and working with you and Kayla, was asking for help, which is like
Yes.
so hard for me to do. It has historically been to me like a real weakness. I would view it that way. And so having that transformation and that shift in my mindset of, it's not a weakness, it's actually a strength, to use the community around you to build this business and to support me. And so I think that was the biggest shift for me, was really in that mindset of setting up a mindset for growth, so that I can take care of myself. I can show up the way that I want to for me and for my business, but also not to the detriment of my own health.
Yes, incredible transformation. And I think that you are not alone in that asking for help is hard.
Yeah.
So having that as a transformation feels, I think, pretty good, pretty impactful. Two last things, Rach, before we wrap up today is, what has this community done for you, the Platinum community, whether that was in person at the retreat or the friendships or colleagues or connections you've made throughout the year? And then after that, can you let us know all of the ways and places that we can connect with you? And I'll make sure it all gets linked into the show notes.
Yeah. So, I think this community is exceptional, really. It's incredible to see how many people from very different walks of life, from different locations geographically, from different business backgrounds, come together with this common thread of wanting to support one another, build a business, and do it in a fun, sustainable way. And the friendships that I've built, it's incredible. Like when we met for the first time at the retreat in person, it was like, oh, I feel like I've known you for years. I
know,
was
so amazing.
surprised. Yeah. And it's just, these are people who I know, no matter where we are, like 5-10 years down the road, I can be like, hey, I need help with this, or like, I'm going to be in your town. Do you want to meet up for coffee? Or like, what's going on with your new book? Or like all these things that, it's such an incredible community where there's no competition between one another, which I think for such a large group, and some people who are doing somewhat similar things, like build businesses in similar areas, it's really incredible to see that intention that everybody brings of community and support versus competition or scarcity. And, I think that speaks volumes to the container that the two of you set up. And also, being selective about who's in the group is really important that way. So
I agree.
yeah, it's really incredible. It's like, these are lifelong friends, I would say.
Oh, I love that. And I know other people would say that about you too, and have said that about you. So it makes my little connector heart just so happy. I'm like, if at the end of the day, this is all I've done is shown people friendships that they can have, then I'm very happy. And I'm happy to hear that there's more, but that is it for me. So thank you for sharing that. So Rach, I want everybody to be able to find you, to hire you, to pay you, to work with you, to connect with you, all of the things. So why don't you let us know the best ways that people can find out what you're up to? And I'll make sure it all gets linked in on our YouTube channel, on the podcast channel, and anywhere else that this video might be shared.
Yeah, so our website is radianteffect.ca. Our Instagram handle is at radianteffect.ca. You can email us at hello@radianteffect.ca. You can
Very streamlined.
You can search Radiant Effect Community on Facebook, and those are the best ways to get a hold of us. Yeah, we'd love to hear from you and connect.
Perfect. Lastly, before we go, I don't know if this is hush hush or if it's open, but is there anything that you want to share about what people could expect in 2023? Or are we saying stay tuned?
Hmm. Hmm. Stay tuned, and very exciting things coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, watch their space, see what they're up to, get into their world. And yeah, you don't want to miss out on this. Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm so happy that you came on today and that you shared your perspective. And I'm so excited to see where 2023 takes you as your own individual person and you within this business with Meg and what is available to you. And I think that people hearing from you today or watching you today, there's lots of room to be inspired of like, oh, you took what happened to you, burnout, exhaustion, whatever it may have been, and turned it into something that you can support others in. I think that that is where business thrives, is when we've walked what we're teaching. We've walked the path of, okay, I'm teaching how to recover from this and how to support our nervous system, because you actually do that for yourself. And I think that that's really, really special and important. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right.